This is our quarterback, Drew Lock, is with us. How are you, man? Well, let's get you there. There we go.
There it is. I'm
there
doing really good. Doing good.
Good to talk to you
out here.
It was funny after the game this weekend. I was talking to Dave because he does the color analyst work on the radio broadcast. I'm like, I feel like Drew played really, really well. He played in the league. I defer to his expertise. He's like, am I seeing that right? He's like, yeah, he played really well. How did you feel you played in that game?
No, it was we were rolling. We were rolling for sure. What you want to do in the preseason is show you can have clean drives, stay away from the penalties, the false starts, or pass interference, whatever it may be, and go score points. And that's what we did when we were out there. I was proud of those guys. You want to work on those long drives, getting into play 13, play 14. That's when the fatigue starts to set in, and you like to have those under your belt when you get into the regular season. But we were taking care of the ball. The run game was working. When guys got the ball in their hands, they were making plays with it. And when everyone's number got called, they made the play when it was their chance.
Drew, so your first year was 2020, right? The pandemic year?
19.
Or was it 19?
19 was my first year, and I played the last 5 games of that year in Denver.
And you had kind of different guys calling, different offensive coordinators.
Yep.
How big of a difference is it this year going in, knowing the offense, kind of knowing your role, things like that?
It is drastically different.
Yeah.
You get to come out. I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is you get to come out here at practice and, think about other things. I'm not wondering, oh, crap, did I call that play right? Did I send that motion when I was supposed to? Did I snap it at the right time on a fly sweep?
Yeah.
There's just those things you wish you didn't have to spend the time thinking about when you get into a new offense, but you have to. It just is what it is. And then once you get comfortable, you kind of mold into a different player. You worry about those things less, and you're like, all right, I got this out there. I know what I'm looking at. Here's what I can get to if I feel like I can get us to something a little bit better. And just being able to execute. Just execution is the only thing you get to think about when out there, instead of kind of little minor details that you'd rather just flow with.
Right. We were doing a show in the offseason with John Schneider, and there was a day we were here where he was a little bit late coming down for the interview, and he came running in, and I'm telling you, he was walking on clouds. He's high-fiving us. We just locked up Drew. We just locked him up. I mean, he was excited. That's not hyperbole. Did you get a sense before you came here about how much, they were singing your praises the day the trade was made and you were coming over, and then, there was some thought, is Drew going to come back after the season? Maybe you're going to go elsewhere, and he couldn't have been more excited. Was there any thought from you that maybe I go somewhere else, or did you always feel like, I'm going to stay here in Seattle?
Yeah, it's kind of like the same answer I give people when they ask me if it was always Missouri, growing up a Missouri kid. I was definitely keeping my options open, but I knew that what this place was and how special this was, and that I really liked being here. Same with why I chose Missouri. I kept my options open, but I knew I really wanted to go to Missouri at that time. This was the same feeling I had. I love the guys on this team. I love the coaching staff. I really liked the idea of playing in the same offense again. Yeah. And just there was a ton of factors that played into it to where I was absolutely listening and going to weigh every option, with this one having a good spot in my heart for sure.
So, Drew, you're a great athlete. Tell us, what were some of the other sports that you played growing up? Because you're well-rounded.
Yeah. I did baseball for a little bit, but, man, when you're a quarterback and the ball's in your hand every play, you get to run around, you're throwing it baseball kind of got a little boring for me at the time.
What position did you play?
I played first. The only time I liked it was when I was a catcher or a pitcher, because then again, I'm
touching the ball every day.
Yeah.
Kind of big for a catcher.
Yeah, I was way too. But I was throwing some people out at second now.
Were you?
Yeah, no one was stealing on me in 5th grade. But no, my big one was basketball. I started at a really young age. I was always bigger than the kids in my grade, and my parents knew that, so I played up a year. Ever since I was in 1st grade, I was playing with 2nd graders, 3rd graders, so that I didn't have to play a big man, so that I could develop as a guard.
There's lots of smack talking about basketball in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that gets exaggerated the most, I think.
Oh.
Who's the better basketball player, all that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you find that's still the case?
That's still the case.
And there's people that don't have your game that think they can beat you.
I just like to ask if they have any offers first. And then if they say yes, then I'll all right, throw me out your best one. And then I'll be like, all right, Oklahoma was mine. Don't get your second. Number 2, Missouri was my next best. And then Wichita State was my 3rd.
So Missouri wanted you as a basketball player as well.
Yeah, and Oklahoma, and Wichita State didn't have football, so they were just offering me as a basketball guy. So
wow,
yeah.
Jeez.
So you didn't play any basketball at Missouri, right?
No, I ended up starting the 6th or 7th game of the year, my freshman year. And, football it was a cool thought. It was cool, but it was always going to be football in the end.
So were you always a quarterback, or did you daydream of being a running back or a wide receiver or a big hitter? You maybe a safety or something, or what was it as a kid?
I think I got moved to quarterback after my first game of tackle football because I was crying after playing running back. So he's like, all right, this kid. I think it was in 3rd grade. This kid lowered his head, speared me in the chest, and I'm like crying, come outside. This is not for me. I cannot play running back. And then sure enough, a couple games later, started throwing the ball. So that's kind of where it started.
Hey, tell us about, so today a couple beautiful catches by DK and Tyler out there. I want to hear about this Bobo kid. So he ran a 4.99 supposedly. Doesn't seem to matter.
No.
The only thing is, Drew, is that we had a media combine here last year, and I think I ran a 5.3, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm fast enough to cover Bobo, right?
I don't know. He is very, very good at what he does. He's very good. His eyes.
You can tell him no. He'll be okay.
Yeah.
You can tell him that's ridiculous.
No, I'm just kidding around.
No.
But, I mean, like, he just gets open. And,
he does.
Yeah, so him, anybody else that you've seen?
Man, Matt Landers has really impressed me as well.
Yeah.
I played with the guys last year, but Cade and Aesop, both great players. Bobo, from day one, more Bobo. Got to give Bobo the ball. Tyjon's been fantastic. I think that a big thing for us, too, is with a couple guys going down, bringing in a couple new guys in the middle of the week, them getting ready to go. I think that receiver room's got some good leaders in DK and Tyler, being able to get those guys ready and showing them the way every single rep out here. So starts with the leaders in the rooms, and I think that's a really good room with some solid leadership for sure.
You know, one of the cool stories about your time here is the relationship you and Geno seem to have. Mm-hmm. And you guys are competing, but I mean, it seems like you're best friends. Like you guys are just, you're really out there for each other. I don't know how unique that is or isn't. I don't know what it was like in Denver before you got here, but just talk to us about that relationship that you guys have.
Yeah, I, being a starter for a majority of my life, going all the way back to sophomore year of high school, all through college, and then even early stages in the NFL. I think the one thing I always tell people I was blessed with was just great quarterback rooms, guys that supported me, guys that did everything they could to help me be the best on whether it was Friday night or Saturday night, and then in the end in Sunday nights. So it was finally my time to give that back. And Geno's shown nothing but respect to me since the day I've got here. I've shown nothing but respect to him on the other side of it. And when they named the starter, it was like, okay, I'm going to give him the room that I always had when I was a starter, and I'm going to be there and do everything I can for him. And I think the only way that works is the fact that I knew that if the roles were reversed, I think he would have done the exact same thing for me. And that's just the relationship we had. And because we both feel that way towards each other with this mutual respect we have, it's a blast. It's a blast. There's no bickering, no fighting. We can be very honest with each other at all times because we know that, we just want to be the best at what we do. So it's been really, really cool. It's been cool.
I found linebacker rooms were much different than that.
You tell each other the wrong play, go to the wrong area for the meeting.
No. What about, just the whole thing being traded? Because we talked to, I think it was Noah Fant, and he was in working out and said he saw it on the crawler on ESPN.
Yeah.
But, how invested were you in Denver? Because I played there for a few years. It's a beautiful city. And did you have a house? Did you have the whole thing?
No, it was.
How much of a shock was it?
It was. And there's a couple sides to the story where, I wouldn't say sitting here now with knowing the player that I am now that my play was acceptable. I wasn't playing good enough. We had a lot of circumstances that happened throughout those years when we were there, and I was doing my best I could to deal with it and handle it and go out and try to play really good football. And there was days that there was really good football, and there was days that were, not so good football. But they had felt it was time to move on. I was in my kitchen, actually, in Denver. We had bought a home. Me and Nat had lived there for almost a little over a year, and I was about to go work out at the guy I've always worked out with. And George gave me the call, and told me everything that was going down. And yeah, sure enough, while I'm on the call, I like flashed the phone to Nat to show her it said George at the top, and she immediately went on Twitter and saw it before he even got to tell me.
Man, it goes fast.
Yeah, but I respected them for calling me to tell me at least. And but yeah, it gets out there quick.
Yeah,
it gets out there really quick. But no, it was definitely a shock within like the first, couple days. But when you get out here and you shake Pete's hand for the first time, get around John, I meet Shane, I meet Andy, I meet all the guys, and Carrie was here. Me and Carrie had a previous relationship, and man, it was great. It was great. It was a much needed scenery change for sure.
Yeah.
I think you got to go is what we're seeing there. But we appreciate you coming by. And by the way, congrats on being a married guy now, and you got a little one on the way. And again, Bob is a great name for a kid. I don't know if you know, but congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Yes.
There you go.
Always.
Drew Lock of
Good
your
luck, man.
Seattle Seahawks, coming off a great game this past weekend. My eyes did not deceive me. Played a great game. So great to catch up with him.